Shalom uvracha to everyone that's here. Welcome to again another Tuesday night. I like your pants. Alright, I gave a compliment. What's You don't know how fortunate you are to have mentors like the mentors you have. I'm going to explain to you. You know, we just started Shovavim. We're 3 days in. 3 days in, 3 days strong. Sometimes I post on my status on a WhatsApp, Shovavim, this, that, and the past couple of years, I got acquainted with a lot of. We just started. I got acquainted with a lot of different cultured Jews, Ashkenazim, Hasidim. And the one guy that I work with, he's like, "What's this Shovavim?" That he's an elderly guy. Like, what's this Shovavim? I looked at him. I was like, "You joking?" Shovavim is the time we do tshuva for the manly sins. He looked at me and like, "What are you talking about?" You know the Balatanya. The Balatanya. I'm not Hasidic, but I learned a lot of Hasidic Torah. The Balatanya, the first Lubavitch Rebbe, he didn't let his grandson learn Hasidus. Who is his grandson? That's Tzemach Tzedek, Rabbi Menachem Mendel. And what happened was, how was the minyanim going?
Huh?
How was the minyanim going?
Kiva?
Huh?
Mincha Arvit good. Shachrit a little.
Shvach. How about the learning every day that you said?
Learning, learn at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, 8:30.
Huh.
And I'm trying to get a morning one.
Okay, very good. I'm just making sure that you're on top of your game.
Yeah.
You said you're not going to go out until you...
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Thank you.
It's my achray, it's my responsibility.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Always, baby. Now everyone on YouTube is also going to start caring. So, the Tzemach, he didn't let the Tzemach Tzedek learn Hasidus. Hasidus is an understanding of Limud Sodot HaTorah, but more in an Avodah aspect. What's an Avodah aspect? How can we reflect upon it on ourselves? Meaning when we talk about these lofty sfirot, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, what does that actually mean? How do I internalize it? Again, since we learn these things, so Chesed means right, kindness, greatness, Gevurah, strength, more Bal Tokef, and so on and so forth. And when you use it as an avodah, for example, Keter, which comes from Arichan Pin, Ratzon. What's Ratzon? Is a will, right? Will is not a midah. Will is a feeling. What does that mean, a feeling? Meaning that concept of having a desire is not based on anything besides wanting, which is the highest thing. And so on and so forth through whenever you learn Chassidus, you can get to internalize the Torah in that aspect, which is the most beautiful thing. Unfortunately, since we're among Jews and Jews, there's so many opinions and so much sinat chinam within ourselves, we like to cancel the other one out always. But if we would just put all of it together, it fits the greater puzzle. It's amazing. So one day, the way it worked was that the Baltani had a house, and in his house he had, the way it worked back in the day, if you weren't rich, you didn't have a lot of money, you had a fireplace, you used to heat it up at night, very, very hot, and you would hope that this heat would last out throughout the whole night. If you were rich, you always had someone every hour throwing in a log. Like that, the house has a consistency of a heat. But the Palatani didn't have that. And one day, the Tzemach Tzedek, in a very young age, decided he's going to hide behind the chimney. Why? He wants to hear the Torah of his grandfather. Until, if you know what a chimney is, it's full of smoke. And what happened? He collapsed. And the Balatanya's wife went to him and said, how long are you going to make this boy suffer? Until you're going to accept him to learn with you this Torah. How long? And the Balatanya looks at his wife and says, without Misirut Nefesh, he will never have the kli for it. In order to learn this kind of Torah, you need to have this sacrifice kind of midah. Like you're willing to do anything just to achieve it. And after he said, now that I know my grandson has that feeling of a sacrifice, he was willing to faint and die and choke to learn it, now I know he has a kli. And why am I saying this story? Because we're so immune to these concepts. For us, like, it's so simple. Tikkun Shovavim, what's there to do? You know, like, okay, you fast, you do tikkun, or you don't fast, or you do the pei dalet pidyonim, or the taniyot. Like, it's not a big deal. But you don't know how many people don't even know what this is. And they can live their life for years. They can live their life and have tzarot and need to do tikkunim for their averot that they did. And they'll die, and they'll never do it. And you over here, 21, 25, 26, 18, already doing things that people that are 60, 70 never even did. Can you imagine? It becomes a sense of unappreciative. And that's why I'm telling you that even though it's so common for you, do not look at it as something that's like it's not a big deal. How they say the people that grow are amongst holy people or a specific holy person doesn't see real value in it because he's always amongst them. It's only the person that comes from far away that comes to want to be with him and want to be. Suddenly you see, wow, the person I'm really with, he's such a hush of a person. He's so holy. Because we have this problem of hergel. We get used to things.
Has to be entitlement.
This is the big issue. This is the problem of marriage. This is the problem of raising kids. This is the problem of everything. When you get used to something. Because when you get used to it, automatically you lose value. Huh? You have a certain amount of money in the bank. You're working. Parashat is good. How about more? What happened? How many people would die to have what you have? It's not enough. It is enough. What's the issue? You got used to it. You could. When you in your mental mind know that everything you really have is not really yours, it's not yours. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to you, then automatically you cannot feel entitled because you're really not entitled. You're just a banker. It happens to be God decided to put His money in your bank, but you work. I know people that work and they don't have money. And I know people that don't work and they have money. Does it have to do really with work? I don't think so. No? That people that work physically hard, then what happens to them? They get a certain salary.
They say work smart, not hard.
Okay, whatever the case, you're going to give me all these Instagram quotes right now. We're going to end up in a different part of the kind of shiur, which I don't want to get to. Okay, so how do we put this Parashat connected to Shovavim? If you see, Shemot starts with what? Counting down, counting the Bnei Israel, the Jewish people that came to Mitzrayim. And its emphasis of the beginning of Shemot is what? Having kids. Paro goes to who? Shifra and Pua. Which was who? Yocheved and Miriam. And said, the Jews are having the Bnei Israel are having too many kids. Yalkut Mamueh said that Paro got very afraid. What was his fear? At that time, Mitzrayim was fighting with a country called Cush. This is the whole story with Balak and the whole thing, how he wasn't advisor to Paro, he wasn't, and his nephew. It's a whole story. I'm not going to get into it. Look into Yalkut Mamueh. It gives you a very clear aspect. And the Mitzrayim were losing the war. They were losing. And Paro said, let the Bnei Israel get involved in the war. We need their help. And the Midrash, Yalkut Manueh says, the Bnei Israel said, no problem. You want us to fight? We'll fight. They took up arms and they massacred the army of Cush.
Did they choke them?
Yes, they were. They massacred them. They made them into nothingness. And Paro got scared. Paro said, if this is what they can do to our enemies, imagine what they can do to us. If they, a goy is a goy. If they can defeat our enemies, how much more so can they come and overpower the land of Mitzrayim? And through manipulation and psychology, he got all the Jews to be enslaved, like in America. I don't think we were in Egypt getting whipped 24/7. I think that's what Hollywood put into the brain. I think we worked very hard. I think we had no time for anything. I don't think it's any different than in America. The land of the free, right? People work 24/7 in this country. They don't know their father, they don't know their mother, they don't know their wife, they don't know their kids. Everything from a youth, what's on the kid's brain? Money. You have to work, you have to hustle, you have to make it, you're going to have kids, you're going to have a mortgage, you're going to have yeshiva bills. So in your brain is what? Mitzrayim. Only I have to do in order to live. I have to do in order to make another dollar and another dollar. Why are you not learning? Oh, I have to make money. For what you have to make money? For what? So this chinuch that we give our kids in America is the same thing that happened in Mitzrayim. And what was Paro's greatest fear? They're having too many kids. Woe are to the parents that prevent themselves from repopulating to have more children because of their own hanawat, for their own enjoyments. There is no reason why a couple that get married in their 20s cannot have at least minimum 8 to 10 kids. There is no reason whatsoever. It doesn't, unless there's health issues and so on and so forth. We're not judging any of that, right? The Shulchan Aruch says you're supposed to have a lot of kids. Why? Because you don't know which one's going to come out pure.
Yeah, but that's
which one's going to become a tzaddik?
Now, how do you support that many kids? Honestly.
You think you support them now?
Huh?
Huh?
What do you mean? What you want to say?
With every child comes another bank account. I promise to you.
One of a person lives off a salary.
Understand?
Yes, so we're
Telling
going to
you.
kids and we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
but-
Telling you.
Yeah, but remember, doesn't
Telling you.
What if a person lives off a salary?
Okay.
He makes 40. Let's say.
I'm gonna answer that. Don't make me take out my board with my calculations. I'm gonna school all of you
Can
again.
we do it? Let's do it.
It doesn't make
Let me explain something to you. You see, when a person in his mind is luxury, then not even having one kid is already too much for him. You see, we all grew up with hand-me-downs. We did.
Hand-me-downs?
Hand-me-down. That means whatever your older brother or your cousin wore, we wore it. Did something happen to you? Did you die? Did you die? Yeah, you're perfectly fine. You look div. You look as strong as can be. Something happened to you? Do you even remember what you wore when you were 5 years old? No. Do you even care what you wore when you were 10 years old? You don't care. But they instill in our head that if you don't get your child the most... Why does an 8-year-old kid need to have a makaj? Can you explain to me this idioticnism? Explain this to me. So you ask me, it's not a warm coat. That Old Navy, $100, very warm too. I promise you, I have kids. Very warm, ya habibi. The warmest as can be. It's all shtuyot in the head. It's not the warm coat. We don't care about the warm coat. We care, what's your son wearing? What is he rocking today? Don't lie to yourself. The worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. Because not only are you lying, you're putting yourself in a narrative. You're psychologically putting yourself in a pit. That's the worst thing in the world, Habibi. I'm telling you this. Your kids don't need 99.9% of the things you think they need. They don't need it. You don't need 99.9% of the things that you think you need. The greatest pleasure for a parent is to see his kids successful, married, and start their own life. The greatest pleasure for grandparents is to see all their grandkids in one table. Now tell me, what greater pleasure it's to have 5 grandkids or to have 50 grandkids? It's a different ballgame. You always say, I want an army. What? With 2 kids you can have an army? You're not gonna have an army with 2 kids. Especially, I don't want to say your last name on the camera over here. You know what I mean? You have maybe a different kind of army, but you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Raviv? You know what I'm talking about? You have to understand, in order to make that happen, you have to do things bitara or b'kedusha. And the only way you can do that is if you live for HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you live for the sole purpose for God. Can you indulge? You could, but you don't have to. Mi'asher hasameach bechalko. And as you get older, you realize how important that sentence really is. That saying is the most important saying a person can have in his life. Who is a rich person? A person that's happy with what he has. How is it a family that lives in Yerushalayim with 15 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment? The most happiest family on planet Earth. They're the most meushar people on planet Earth, and they live with 15 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. How is it that when we get married in America, you're already getting a 2-bedroom apartment? You don't even have kids. What 2-bedroom you're getting? For what? Why the Deonagi? Why the Bodagi?
For the future.
For the future.
Looking forward.
For the future.
Why move out of an apartment?
What? For the future. Buy straight a house right away. For the future.
That's a little deal.
You know what? Before you get married, buy a grave for yourself. For the future.
Actually,
It's more guaranteed that you're going to die than you're going to get married. Might as well start by buying a grave for yourself. For the future.
I think that's smart, I'll be honest.
You see it, the full grade.
I'll say what?
What? Rabbi Isaac.
How much is the grade cost? 10 years ago, how much is the
Shem
grade cost?
Yishmor Otanu Mikol Ra.
8,000, now it's 50,000. In
Give
Israel.
me a seltzer or something, please. Thanks.
Think of the biggest moment.
מה אתה אומר בכלל?
What is that? I'm making
מה
a
אתה
good point.
אומר?
It's a good point.
What happened? What happened in the Torah? Let's dissect it a little bit. How important this mitzvah is and how this is so connected to Shovavim. Moshe Rabbeinu's father, what was his name? Amram. Amram married who? Which was who?
Levi's granddaughter, or niece.
Levi's granddaughter. Who was Amram?
Sadly.
Amram married his aunt.
That was Levi's
Did you know that? Amram married his aunt. He was allowed. There were the laws of Erva were different. The only reason why we have the laws of Erva was after the Egel HaZahav. It's supposed to be really a bit different. We're not going to get into this aspect right now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihya bidvaro. Amram married his aunt.
Which was not then it was.
And then he divorced her. He gave her a get. When did he give her a get? After the decree of Paro. When Paro said no more. If there are male offsprings, you have to kill them. If there are female offsprings, you have to let them live. He said, why should I be married and go through this process? So he told his wife, we're going to get a divorce.
Prostate?
Yeah. His daughter comes to him, Miriam, and said, you are the head of the Jewish people in Mitzrayim. If you're going to do this, you know what's going to happen? They're all going to learn from you. They're all going to leave their wives. They're not going to do the mitzvah of Priya or Viyah. And to multiply. And what happened? He married his wife back. And who came out of that? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu. The pasuk says that when Moshe was born, the house was lit. Kitov. It was beautiful. It was nice. You saw pleasant in this child. You want to know why? Because that child was consummated through Mesirut Nefesh. Ask any woman that wanted to do a abortion on a child, and at the end they didn't do abortion, that specific child usually gave them the greatest life. Do your research.
I agree.
Usually that child gave them that nachat ruach. Why? It has to do with the concept of Mesirut Nefesh. When a person is single and he's thinking to do an Avera, if it's looking at things that he's not supposed to, that's going to cause him to do Avera. If it's going to places that he's not supposed to, that's going to cause him to do Avera. And he holds himself back, it was worth the world to be created for you at that moment. So it was worth that the whole world should be in turmoil right now just for you to hold yourself back. Ma tov u'ma na'im your Mesirut Nefesh is. You want to have parnasa? Yeah? You talk about parnasa. You don't need to work. Stop sinning.
What?
And work.
Stop sinning.
And work.
Stop sinning.
And work maybe? Or?
You have to understand that every time you do that sin, you have to support them. I want you to understand this. People don't understand this. The same way you have to support your physical kids, you have to support your spiritual kids. They're your responsibility.
Wait, what's that?
It's only if I never feel like being a millionaire right now. I just
So you'll be beyond the millionaire. I don't know what's your cheshbon. You know, you have to support them spiritually. You know, the word parnasa doesn't mean finances.
It's being sustenance.
It means sustenance, survival, life, refuah. It also means under that category. It's under the category of having a normal life. So when you pray on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur for parnasa, the Yinuka says you should pray for osher mufleget. The Yinuka says you have to pray for abundance of wealth. It's called osher mufleget.
You're always good.
And he said you have to say those words. Why?
Because only symbol for me.
Rabbi said you have to understand. I'm going to give you a secret now. I've been saying it for a long time. A person, when he says Kriyat Shema al Hamita, he has the power to destroy those masigin that he created. When a person opens a seudah, makes a meal, and invites people, and they talk divrei Torah, and the people at that table wash and eat, and then say bracha achrona, and they say brachot with kavanah, Baruch Ata Hashem, blessed is you Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, our God, the God of the universe, Borei minei mezonot, Borei pri hagefen, Shakol niya bidvaro. Every time they do a beracha, you are actually doing tikkun abrit at that moment too.
Who says that?
The Yinuka says it.
Very kind.
The Abir Yaakov says it. The Ben Shai hints it out.
There was that question about
Wait.
So why Shema? The
Wait.
only one that everyone publicizes.
Kriyat Shema L'mitah. Everyone publicizes it because that's unanimously accepted. Why don't we suggest people to fast nowadays? What was the point of fasting? Do you know? The point of fasting was to weaken our Yetzer Hara. Throughout the generations, we became physically weaker. And instead of weakening our Yetzer Hara, what are we weakening? Our goof, our body. You know those guys that say, I'm fasting? Did you daven shacharit? No. Did you go to minyan? No. Daven mincha with minyan? No. So why are you fasting? The point of fasting is not to exclude all the other things that you would have done. I remember my father, this man's a tzaddik, people don't even know. He used to fast. He used to go to work. He used to learn. He used to be like nothing ever happened. Like, what happened? Like, and then he used to come home, do his thing. Yeah, okay, just broke my fast. Weiter. Next. These are men, these are people. It has nothing to do with food. It has to do, I'm being an Oved Hashem right now. I'm serving God. Right now, I'm serving God through ABCD. That's how I'm going to serve God. We don't look at it that way. We look at it as a burden. That's why we feel weak when we fast.
How was it pleasurable, though, Rabbi?
Because when you know you're doing it, for a good cause, you feel good about it. For example, if you have a dislocated shoulder, right? Even though it hurts to pop it back in the socket, right? But you say to the guy, do it already. I'm in pain. Let me just get over with it. Do it. And the guy snaps it back in. How do you feel right after?
Better.
Oh, wow. Oh, Gan Eden, you say, right? Same thing for a person that reaches that level of Banayid Benoni or Tzaddik Viral or Tzaddik Amur. For them, these things, it's, I'm doing my Avodas HaKodesh. I'm serving Hashem. But you can't do it until you get married. You can't do it properly. Rabbi, you have to get married. You must. You can't be lazy. I was talking to one of my chaverim. I drove yesterday to New Jersey to deal, to meet up with another chaver of mine to talk about something. He was telling me the greatest destruction for a lot of people not getting married is because they only hear about the negativity about marriages. He said, I never hear people praising all the good stuff about marriage. And he said something and he gave me such a musar on the spot. We're so used to focusing on all the negative, we forget how much positive really is going on around us. If it's at work, if it's with our family, if it's at school. Today a guy called me, he wants to go out with this girl. He said, yes, no, I don't know, Misrud Nefesh, Misrud. Suddenly, even before he went on a date, he got a message, she's not interested anymore. An hour ago, she said, yes, let's go. Suddenly, no. You know what he said? Baruch Hashem. Still work on my Avodat Hashem. I did my Hishtadlut. Next, weiter. But to go with this cheshbon, I don't know, I'm not making enough money. I'm not learning Torah 10 hours a day. And they find this shtuyot. Are you doing shazal every day? Don't answer. Are you looking at shtuyot during the week? Don't answer. So where's the math here? For you to do averot, it's fine. For you to do mitzvot until you don't get to that specific thing, you cannot get married. Who said? About who said? The purpose of marriage was to make sure you don't fall. The purpose of marriage was for you to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through a kli. And what's that kli? A wife. You cannot love Hashem until you not know how to love your wife. It's impossible. Until you don't understand the concept of love when you have your children, you can never really love. You don't know what love is. To get to the understanding of being unconditional to another human being, and then focusing that gear on God, there's a reason why the process of life is the way it is. There's a reason why you're a child, and then you have parents, and then you have a wife, and then you have kids. It's all to teach you different levels of discipline, structure, love, which is conditional, love that's unconditional, and then love that's really unconditional, which is towards Hashem. You can't reach that until you reach those levels. So when you're saying, I'm going to hold back from the ultimate mitzvah, which is continuating Klal Yisrael, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're shooting yourself in the foot. I can't find the right one. You're lying. It's all about tikkun midot, working on your midot. It's all about working on your midot. Working on oneself. It's okay to submit a little bit. Nothing is going to happen. That doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't make you weak, Rabbi said. Compromise, nothing wrong with that. And we see that this week's Parashat.
Right?
Shemot.
Shemot? What's your question before I continue?
Just to clarify,
Sure.
if a person spills seed, you know how they say, like, every time you spill seed,
Say Shazal.
What does that mean?
That's what it means.
Because I don't want, there are some young kids that watch the Shurim, I don't want them to get
Hazal.
Shichva Zer Lavat Hazal.
So let's say someone does Shazal, you know? Shazal happens. They say you create children without bodies. So every time someone does Shazal, there's technically hundreds of millions of,
Correct.
right? So are you saying there's hundreds of millions of, you have hundreds of millions of kids, or it's one time you get one kid for every time you do it? Like,
For every cell, every potential cell you're responsible for.
so for, let's say from the course of a person's lifetime, that comes out to like,
Whatever it is, thousands. Okay,
so you're saying people have thousands of trillions of kids?
Correct.
How does that make sense?
What's there not to make sense?
Because how is there so many in the Shemot?
No, they're not neshama, they're potential neshamot.
So what are
They become mazikin. Well, you see, whenever the thing doesn't go into its kli, it needs to find a new kli. It needs to find a new vessel. So what happens? These tipot that come out, we have the Samahmem's wife, right? We don't like to say her name, especially at night. Comes and gives them a kli, gives them a sense of a vessel, and this sense of a vessel becomes mazikim. They become your own adversaries for bad.
I'll be honest.
You don't need to believe.
No, I believe in that. I 100% believe in that. Just when you say thousands of trillions from a course of a person's lifetime, can't believe I have.
How come they say that your existence shows that you're a survivor?
What does that have to do with anything?
Why do they say that?
What does that do with the point of
No. Why do they say that?
You're going to make it through.
Why do they say that? Because for your survival, in order for you to be here, you needed to overpower everyone else that was in the race with you.
But there can only be one.
Yes or no? Yes.
There can only be one.
What's the difference here? You see, whenever you put something in its right kli, for example, let's say you have chai. Your mother comes, or your father, whoever is in the house, brings the chainik, right? An urn. What's it called actually in English?
Teapot.
Teapot, a kettle. And she pours it in the cup. And you only drink half. Does she really care that the other half is not that no one drank the other half? She doesn't care. But how about if you take that kettle and you start spilling it on the floor? The same amount that you didn't drink, is she gonna care?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
What the hell's wrong with you?
You spilled it out.
One belonged in that kli, and one didn't belong in that kli. Do you understand? Whenever something belongs somewhere, and even though it wasn't successful, it belongs there. This is where it goes. But when something doesn't belong, now what do you have to do? You have to take a napkin. Not one, but two, and make it dirty. And you have to clean that water that's spilled. Now you created more than one vessel that needed to be done. When someone does that sin, you have to understand, you have to answer for it. Now, everyone wants to be in denial. Why? And how much tshuva we have to do, ya habibi? Oh, your mama, we have to fast from today till we die, non-stop. But don't worry, we have some tidbits for you, how to get rid of it all. The first thing is, get married.
Rebbe's done. The knowledge is good. The knowledge is good.
You have to get married. You have to. You must.
Rebbe, you're saying somebody could have thousands of trillions of kids.
Potential. They're called potential children.
Yeah,
Yes.
How does 1,000 trillion whatever your kids affect you? Thousands of trillions. How are they gonna affect you?
I'm gonna tell you. If God forbid an insurance company takes someone that builds an insurance company, right? Takes them to court. What is the claim of the insurance company? You build hundreds of people that you weren't supposed to build. How is that supposed to affect you?
It does affect you.
Why?
You go to jail.
I know that.
But why? Why does it affect you? Because you harmed that company that provided you money that you food for hundreds of millions of dollars or people that you build. Same thing over here.
But it makes sense if it was okay.
It only makes sense to you, and that makes sense because that you can actually physically, it fits in. But something that's spiritual for you is something that's abnormal.
Thousands of trillions, it's not really, come on.
I'm not going to argue with you. Look at the science. So go online.
I know that there's...
Go
I
online
know the science.
and do the research, and you'll see for every time a man does a sin, every time there are thousands, if not million, of cells that come out.
500 million every time. You're saying every time?
Correct? Tell that to yourself. Don't do it. Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
So all those are your kids.
Those were your potential kids, and those you have to answer for them. Yeah, I don't understand what's the problem. Where are you getting confused?
You're gonna go to Shemot, you're gonna see a corner, and you're gonna see a...
So I'm giving you an answer how to do tshuva.
But they have to do
And instead of doing that, you know what you're saying to me? I don't want to answer for them. I don't care what you want. You did it. You can answer for it. That's it. So where's the confusion? I'm getting confused.
The number part.
Okay, you know what? To make you feel better. You want me to make you feel better? Every time you do it 1,000. That makes you feel better?
Well, so why 1,000 though?
And it's not really 1,000, just for your mental process, because you have something screwed, something's clogged there. I just told you 1,000.
Having 1,000 trillions of kids.
It's not logical. You're in court. There's nothing that's... You're in heaven.
Every time you do, you have one kid in Shemot. Thousands of trillions.
Because every sperm cell could have been a child. So you add up for all the sperm cells that could have been a child.
See, I don't want to use those words on the camera, but yes, that's what it is.
Every teenager knows what that means.
Does it make a difference? You have to try to use the lashon nikiyah, a clean tongue.
This is lashon.
Okay, so let's get back to this week's parasha. Moshe Rabbeinu, Raya Mihemna. This is who really Moshe Rabbeinu was. What happened? He was put in a small little casket, right? Basket. Threw him in the water. And who comes there? Batya. Batya comes, the daughter of Hashem, right? And she drew him out. Why did they call him Moshe? What does the pasuk say? Because she moshichehu, she drew him out of the water. The word Moshe means to draw, to bring close. It's very important. To come to a realization that it's okay if I don't understand. It's okay. It's not the end of the world not to understand. The worst thing is to lie to yourself. This is where people fall. People fall when they decide to lie to themselves. It's a very big issue. And this is like psychology 101 for a person that wants to get cured from all mental problems. The problem is not that he's doing good or he's doing bad, is that he's in denial if he's doing something good or something bad. You cannot be in denial. You can't tell yourself that it's better off I will be the way that I am, but not yet ready to start a family. It's a denial process. Unfortunately, this denial is very strong among the youth. Very strong. You know, you always need someone to push you to do good. You always need it. You always need it. That's the most important thing. The most important thing is that the person you're going to be with after, whenever you get married, is going to be someone that's going to push you to do tov. And not someone that's going to push you to do ra. What's the difference? There's a person that lives to be selfish, and there's a person that lives to be selfless. Now, no one in the world was created to be selfless. It doesn't exist. We were all born to be selfish. If not, we wouldn't live. Why? Imagine being a little baby and saying, "Oh, mommy's sleeping. I'm not gonna cry now in order to eat." What would happen? You would die. But mommy slept. You were trying to be selfless. No, we were all created to be selfish. The goal in a relationship, in a marriage, and we see this all the time in the Torah, is to make sure we can be selfless for our spouse. What does that mean? What does that mean? Her need before your need. And she has to think his need before her need.
How's that work though?
There's the
Not
question.
if one doesn't, the other one doesn't.
I'm gonna answer you right now. This is where, you know why where everyone messes up? In the dating process. Everyone messes up in the dating process. Why?
Don't speak about it.
No. People think it's mitzvah asem min Torah to date a girl for very long, to always be 24/7 around her during the dating time, to 24/7. What do you need? How can I help you? What kind of nonsense is this? You're mentally training the other person that you are a. I don't want to say the words that I really want to say. He said it right. Don't say it loud. Like you're. What are you showing here? What are you doing? You're mechanachim. You're training the other person that yes, you can be selfish, and I'll always be selfless for you. And then when they get married, and then they start complaining. Oh, when we dated, you did. Yeah, when I dated, I was a loch. But now go fix that up. You can't. It's too late. You just broke it. And that's why I tell people when they date, distance is key. You must be distance. You must. It's called the tug feeling.
Pull and push.
Exactly. You have to make the person have that desire for you. How do you do that? The gaguim, the missing, the wanting. How? How you do that? Not by being 24/7 with them, but lahefech. The hefech. Oh, so where's the problem? Oh, we're gonna break up. He doesn't give me enough attention. You know when she says that? When you over date. When the dating isn't couple months, it becomes couple of months.
Years.
And then what happens? That's bad. That's very bad. That comes to mental abuse. That's bad. So you need to have a normal proportion. For each person it's different, for every family it's different. But the normal proportion is not to be up each other's business 24/7. This is the problem. So you start dating, right? Great girl, great guy, perfect. But suddenly you become too close. First of all, why would you want that? I really want to know. Why would you want that? Why are you too emotionally invested in something that you're not for sure yet about? She's pretty? So what?
In order to secure the investment.
Secure which investment?
Yeah.
You only secure the investment once you say,
But to get there, you
No. In order for you to be trapka, that's the way you do it. I'm going to say it straight up.
But wait, why that?
Because what happens in the house then? Use your head a little bit. What happens in the house then? The man is not a man. Now, a man being a man doesn't mean now he has to be a control freak. I never said that. Rabbi Isai, don't get me wrong. And I'm not some Instagram guy that's going to talk to you about the red pill. I'm not like that. Totally not like that. I believe a man should do all his ma'amatzim to do everything that he can do. But when it becomes an obligation, that's the issue. It has to be a gesture, not an obligation. That's what people don't understand. And that's when all the problems in the house happen.
Maybe it wouldn't work if a girl.
Wait, do you first understand?
Yeah.
Well, so explain. You don't understand. So I'm going to say it again.
Do it as a gesture. That way.
What does that mean? But how does that become as a gesture?
Maybe
No. No.
Do it because you want to.
No.
Not because you feel like you
No.
have to.
No.
Why?
When she, right? When you help or do something, it shouldn't be that she's obligating you to do it. She's thankful that you're helping. That's the difference. And so too the other way around. When she brings a big salary to the house, right? Nowhere in the Ketubah does it say that she has to be mefarnes you. The exact opposite says what? You are the one that has to clothe her, give her, and make sure she's satisfied with all her needs. But we live in 21st century, and a woman make good money, right? And God forbid she's gonna say, I make more than you. Because then not only does that break the shalom bayit, that breaks the self-esteem of the family, and that even causes for other things bad to happen.
That's bad on her.
Shh, no. Shh, no, you're not listening. You're being stubborn because you have a low self-esteem right now. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
When she makes more, in her mind, it has to be that I'm doing not a favor for my husband because he can't achieve. That's the problem. That shouldn't be going through her head. In her mind, it has to be, I'm helping. I'm contributing. Do you understand? It's not an obligation. That means if tomorrow she says, I'm not going to work anymore.
You have to be okay with it.
If you have to say 100%, this is your obligation. You don't need to go to work. Do you understand? So it's a double-way street here. Don't think I'm some crazy guy over here. I'm not. But where's the problems happen? When the mishicha, the tug is not even. And when does that become not even? When in the seedlings, when you put your seed, right? Your first seed, meaning the way you interact with a human being, is already off. The whole relationship becomes off. And then you say, Rabbi, she never respects me, or he Let's rewind. When did this happen? When you started going out. When you decided it's okay. This way of acting was fine to disrespect each other. This way of acting towards each other was fine. And then it leaks to disaster. And then men do shtuyot, and women do shtuyot, and Shovavim. So a person has to understand that Shovavim is not necessarily only have to do with that, but it also has to do with your midot, how you act, how you talk, and how you participate, and who you are as a human being, and how you can make yourself mentally and physically stronger for other people. The greatest bracha is that you should be loved in this world and loved in the next world. It's not good to be a Talmid Chacham but have the most nasty midot. No one likes that. Talmid Chacham has nothing to do with a tzaddik. It's two different things. You can be a Talmid Chacham, but you can be a Rasha also.
Very good question.
And you can be a tzaddik and not be a Talmid Chacham. So do you understand? So the truth is, we cause our own problems. Seltzer, please. There's behind the door over there. We cause our own issues in our life, and we don't realize it because we live this Jewish modern lifestyle, and none of us want it really. All of us really want the real Orthodox lifestyle, which is pure love, pure cherish, pure understanding, a normal house, good kids, and so on and so forth. We're just too scared to admit it. Because in Judaism, in this generation, they label everything. You have to wear a black hat, you can't wear green pants, and you have to wear this, and that. Your kippah has to be this shade of black, not that shade of black. Has to have a rim, it shouldn't have a rim, it should. It's all shtiyot. Are you a Ben Adam? Are you human? Do you have midot? Do you know how to talk to people? Do you wear normal clothes? Or are all your clothes ripped? Do you have some manners? You know how to talk to people? Do you work? Do you learn? That's what you need to look for. Shibal derech eretz, bal midot, bal tzanua.
I know these things, you never know. You go there, I can take it together. Hey, how are you? Rabbi, it's not real. Why do I need to, Rabbi? Straight up, be straight up. No.
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
Okay, so please tell me.
I already dated. I'm not going to redeem.
Just say Rabbi.
I disagree with that.
Show me how, Rabbi.
What do you find out? What do you mean?
You can tell.
You find out.
I mean, the more you go, the more
You find out. You find out. You know. The way she speaks, the way you talk. Don't you know? Oh, you never dated yet, so that's what you're saying. That okay? Someone that actually dates knows. They know already after the first date. They say, okay, this is not gonna work out. They know. You see things pop up. Like there's always a glitch. The glitch always pops up. And also for the man side, suddenly he's such a tzaddik, suddenly he starts to talk blood noise out of nowhere. Ooh, relax yourself. What? He feels too
Comfortable.
He blew his cover. Why? I got this in the bag, Rabbi. I got this in the bag. Say, pa-Gruzinski. Before you know it, she does pa-Ukrainsky then to him. And then what? Then you need only Putin to blow them both off. That's all you need, right? So, you have to understand. You have to be true to yourself. You can't lie to yourself. Torah Umitzvot. Musar every day. Open this frame, Musar, be a mensch. Moshe Rabbeinu grew up in the house of Paro. You know what that is? It's like growing up in the house, I don't know, of the cartel.
Royalty.
Do you know what that is? Whatever tava he wanted, the respect he got, everything. He was willing to drop all of that for his true identity, which is to be a Yehudi. And for who? For Eldad Umeidad. For the Jews that did all the trouble in the world. Imagine, he killed a Mitzri for them. And the next day they said Lashon Hara about him. And he had to run away. And he didn't meet Yaesh. When he went to the burning bush, Hashem said, "You're going back. You're going back. You're going to take out the Klal Yisrael out. You. No one else. Not Aaron, not your brother, but you. You're not allowed to be Mityaesh. Never. You sinned. You sinned. The next second, literally, the next second you get up, I'm sorry, I have to do better. You find yourself a mikveh and you continue living your life. Even if it's before Shaharit, even if it's after Arvit, if it's in middle of Kriyat Shema. It already happened. I'm not dwelling on it. I'm continue living my life. Avodat HaKodesh. Continue being spiritual. Continue being fighting. I'm going to finish with this before I take questions. There's something I heard that was amazing. The Yenuka was talking to the son-in-law of the Ger Rebbe, and he, in between the lines, I chapped this understanding. If a person daven shacharit with a minyan on time, he has such a siyata d'shmaya that day. He has such help from Hashem that day that it's almost unlikely for him to sin. He has such a siyata d'shmaya, not because yeshiva is forcing him. I have to daven shacharit. I have to say Shema Bizmana.
What's considered on time?
On times before Zman Tefillah. I have to daven Shmoneh Esrei. But not daven because I want to get rid of. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagit Yiratecha. What does that mean? Why are you saying that?
So I can know.
Why? Hashem, I sin with my mouth, and even though I'm not worthy of davening to you because you're Melech Malchei HaMelachim and you're Av Rahman and you're the most merciful being in the world. Not being means he's not Hashem, but you're so merciful and you still allow me to open my filthy mouth to you. Baruch Atah Hashem, and you start davening. And you daven b'kavanah, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu. How many people are in awe when they say V'ahavta.
Yes.
Rabbi Sai, V'haya im Shemot tishmu el mitzvotai asher anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom le'ahava et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha b'chol modecha. And then he says, I'll bless you with everything. If you love me, I'll bless you with everything. But if you don't, and you don't listen to the Torah,
First.
I will curse you, chas v'chalila. And everyone says it low.
Wow.
Why low? Say it loud. Not loud, of course. Ben Ish Chai is not to say it, so on and so forth. My point of saying it, to say it loud, is at least you should hear it. When I'm chazan, I say it loud. Because some people in the shul don't know how to read. They're relying on me to be in Yosei Chovadem, so I say it loud enough for them to hear it. But if you know how to read, take the Siddur and learn word for word. What am I saying? What am I davening? What am I doing? We don't do this. We live in fantasy land. Doing like this and saying I'm looking for a charuta and before I get married is not gonna give you nothing. It's not gonna help you. Right? I never yet met a person that said, I'm gonna get rich, I'm in the business now, I'm gonna work a little bit. No. The guy goes and says to the boss, you move aside. You teach me everything, you take vacation. I'm gonna work from today till tomorrow. That's how we become successful. You know how difficult it's to get married in this generation? I don't need to tell you this. I don't need to tell you this. You gotta make sure you get married. You must. First mission, you have a half a year before Shana. A half a year, Rabbi said, there's no reason why before Shana you shouldn't be married.
Half year for
Before you get married. From now until Rosh Hashanah is 6 months.
married or like
Married!
regular? By the time engagement, by the time you go out, it's already.
It's 9
Oh!
months. September.
You have around 8 months.
Thank you, Josh.
Rabbi Sai, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're too comfortable. You're too comfortable. Life's too good for you. It's your parents' fault. You're too comfortable. You're too comfortable. You can't be comfortable. Comfort killed the cat. Comfort killed the cat. You can't be comfortable. You have to say, I'm not happy I'm single. I'm not happy. I'm not happy that I can't do Yichud Kudsha Brich with my wife. I'm not happy that I can't start my life. But life's too good. Moms cook for you. You don't gotta answer to nobody. You do whatever you want, whenever you want. That's Avodat Hashem. Avodat Hashem is the exact opposite. It's exact opposite. When you restrict, when you constrict yourself, when you hold yourself back, that's Avodat Hashem. The greatest Musar Sefer is what, you know? A wife. The greatest. The greatest Musar
What's your
Sefer.
check?
The greatest. The greatest Musar Sefer. You're all ready. All of you. Don't be scared. Take the bull by the horn and go weiter in life. Any questions?
I mean, I'm scared. That's my point. I'm scared.
I understand why you're scared.
Maybe a quick question.
How do you change that?
It's the biggest decision in the world. Like,
Yeah, it is. Yes.
biggest one.
And that's why we're commanded to get married when we're young. You want to know why?
Because we start thinking.
Because we don't chap.
Top what?
We don't chap how big this decision really is. And that's why when you reach a certain age, like 26, 27, 30,
You quit.
it's very hard to get married. Why? Because you're already you're too in the depth of the hell. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? When you're young, Hashem said, what's the saying the Bukharin used to say?
Hold them young.
Whenever the eyes are still closed, Darro, get them married. They were so smart with their words. They were such tehorim vektoshim when they used to say that. Why? Why did they say that? Before you know any bad, go. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. When you get older, you already don't want to figure it out. It's easier for you to say the D word than to figure it out. The D word is divorce. It's easier for you to say that than to figure it out. Why? I was living freely until now. Look at this. Now suddenly she wants me to come home? Suddenly now I have to pay for this bill and that bill? I was chilling. Every day different, every day going out. Blah, 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 blah. But is that Avodat Hashem? That's being a dog. That's a Gadaev. It's a dog. You want to be a dog? Come on. Use the head. Freedom. This is the key. True freedom is not when you do what you want, but it's when you know how to submit. Because when you know how to submit, it shows you're a real free person. When a person doesn't know how to submit, they're really the biggest enslaved human beings. Don't ever forget that. A true free person knows how to submit. Because that's actually his choice, to submit. That's what makes him free. A not free person cannot submit because he doesn't know how to. So he'll say, why are you forcing me? Let me be me. You being you is being an animal. But you learning how to control that animal is what? Free person. Of course you're scared. I'll say it on the camera. Kids that come from broken families are more scared than anyone else. Why? Because they don't want to repeat the mistake of how they grew up. You know what my answer is to those people? Find a mentor, find him fast, and let him guide you. Because you need to replace that fatherhood. The only person that can replace that is having a mentor. A Rebbe, a Mashpia, not the guy that goes with you out to the gym. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Randy Mandy? Right? He's my mentor, Rabbi. Yeah. Mentor.
Randy.
Right?
Maybe can I ask 2 questions? Just for the...
In order, you need to have a mentor. You need it. And even if, God forbid, not God forbid, even if you have parents together, but their marriage is not the marriage you want to have, find a mentor. Find someone that's going to help you and guide you step by step, show you the right way, the right ropes. Everyone argues. So they can also argue with their wife. I guarantee it to you. But their argument is so much different. It's like a different kind of argument. And it's not an everyday thing. Who wants to get married and fight with their wife every day? It's so disgusting. Right? You have to find a mentor. No?
2 questions. Just
Okay.
out of curiosity, I want to know your take on this. What if a guy, for a girl to sign a prenup, just want your take on it.
Next question.
Okay.
Well, that's a good question. Wait, I want to know.
I want to get the next question. I have to see where it's leading.
I just want...
A prenup is when a person comes with a certain amount of income or she comes with a certain amount of income, and according to the legal law, if you guys get divorced, you have to split the money, even though she never earned anything or he never earned anything. So they sign a prenup to show that if something, God forbid, happens, we leave the way it is. You came in, I come out with what I came. That's what a prenup is. No, what's the second question?
The second question is the first question.
That's exactly why I'm asking you to ask it.
Okay. Is it okay if the girl's older than the guy?
100%.
Yeah?
100%. 100%.
No, I'm just asking.
100%. What's the issue?
No, okay. Just...
So then what's the problem?
Is it
Whoa. It's an ego thing, right?
Yeah, like a dominance, like, oh, she's like older, like...
Really? You're a man, so.
Shh, don't say what you're about to say.
No, they're a lot more mature, those girls. From my experience. They're a lot more mature. No, I'll tell you the truth. When I was
Shh, hey, you're on camera. Shh.
Shh.
You know, people hear you, they say you, right? In the other places, right? I hear you go here. Yeah, haha. It's good if I get all the fire. It's okay. Don't you guys are still. You don't need it. No. I like it when it's on. What do you? Okay. If a girl is older than you, is not a problem. I know it's a stigma by a lot of communities. Oh, she's older. Has nothing to do with anything. Again, no one's telling you to marry a girl that's 15 years older than you. That's not that. That's not.
Like a year. Let's say a year.
A year, 2, 3. That's normal.
10.
That's really.
I don't know. Tzarich iyun. 10 years. Can she have kids?
Still, it's OD.
10 years, like no, tzarich iyun. That's a serious question. That's a 10 years. That's another ball game.
What if you already have kids with her?
Okay, that's another serious question. Seriously, that's a serious question. That's not a public issue. That needs to sit down, detail by detail, reason why, how, hashkafa, people. It gets into details.
So
Prenup.
Seriously.
Seriously, I don't know how to answer it. I'm a truthful guy. I don't know how to answer it.
Why?
I don't know.
What are your opinions on it?
I think every relationship is different. Every marriage is different. Every woman's different. Every man's different.
So what does that have to do with the prenup in itself? If you're saying.
You can't give a general rule that a person should definitely do a prenup with his wife, or no. Maybe the guy he's a perv. He's just marrying her to have kids. He's gonna give her a miserable life. He's gonna start a life with other people, and then he'll divorce her. But he has good kosher kids now, and he leaves her with nothing.
No, we don't know that.
How often is that the case?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I'm saying, Rebbe,
You'd be surprised.
I'm saying it or not.
You'd be surprised. You don't know. You'd be surprised what's out there.
Rebbe, I'm saying, like, let's say a couple, just stop. Like, nobody's mental, nobody's ill, nobody has an agenda. I'm saying, a guy, wealthy, just wants to, or his girl sign a prenup. No agenda, no.
That's what you get legally married, though, no? Like,
What do you care about this?
any kosher thing, there's nothing like that?
Who cares?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm here. Hello. I'm answering you. I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question for you. I don't know. That I think has to do with the personal. Your personal Rebbe has to decide that for you. In this personal case, I don't know. Simple. Very simple.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Any other questions? Nothing?
This is a loaded sheet, bro. I got questions.
Okay, Rabbi Isai. Have a good night. And Tikkun Shovavim. I hope the next one everyone will attend. It was very beautiful.